China Current is a weekly news talk show from China to the world. We cover viral news about China every week and also give you the newest updates on China's cutting-edge technologies. Let's get started.
Welcome to China Currents, your weekly news report on what's happening in China. I'm Lisa. In this episode, BRICS come together to deliver a great gift to the global south. Huawei released a new game-changing operating system. IMF pointed out China, India and Brazil will be the engine of global economy in 2025. First, let's see how the BRICS will end the US dollar hegemony. From the 22nd of October to the 24th, the 2024 BRICS Summit took place in Russia, generating significant attention among the Chinese public for two key announcements. The first was President Putin's unveiling of sample banknotes for the BRICS currency, and the second was the introduction of the BRICS Pay, a new cross-border payment system. Both developments represent significant progress in the de-dollarization movement, and it opens up the possibility for China, Russia, and the global south to be immune to US sanctions. First, the BRICS banknote features the flags of the 5 founding countries, along with those 14 other member nations. The design also incorporates various languages and landmarks from each country, showcasing a commitment to cultural inclusiveness and diversity that stands in stark contrast to the US dollar and the euro. On the other front, BRICS Pay is posed to neutralize the financial sanctions leveraged by the US. Following the onset of the Russian-Ukraine conflict, the US removed Russia from the SWIFT system, complicating trade for Russian companies and making it difficult for ordinary Russians to access their funds in European and US banks. Even Swiss banks, traditionally viewed as having a neutral position, imposed sanctions on Russia. But now the BRICS Pay will make it harder for the US and EU to repeat such action, and it also has two other major improvements. First, the SWIFT system is heavily influenced by the US and the EU due to systematic discrimination against the global south within its governance structure. It is overseen by a board of directors comprising 25 members elected by the most influential banks. As of May 2024, representatives from the US, EU, Australia and Canada holds 21 of these 25 seats. In contrast, China, South Africa, Japan and Singapore collectively share 4 seats for Asian and African countries, while South American nations have no representation at all. So, how can the financial interests of the global south be adequately represented in such an imbalanced voting system? In contrast, the BRICS Pay system employs a decentralized cross-border message system developed by Russia's St. Petersburg State University. The system operates without a central owner or hub, allowing the participants to manage their own nodes. In this decentralized framework, no country can impose its will on others' node, regardless of its size or military power. Furthermore, BRICS Pay enable member countries to conduct cross-border payments in their own currencies, mitigating the effect of foreign exchange fluctuations on trade. The era when a single nation could dominate the global economy merely by printing money is coming to an end. Secondly, the SWIFT system enjoys widespread global use because it effectively encompasses the world's most significant economies. Therefore, it is very challenging for countries that are reliant on exporting raw materials and other products to detach from it. However, BRICS Pay also includes several important economies. As of 2024, BRICS country controls 52% of the world's natural gas reserves, 42% of global oil reserves, and 53% of food production. Based on purchasing power parity calculations, the BRICS organization accounts for approximately 35.4% of global GDP, which surpasses the G7's share of 29.6%, and BRICS also represents 45% of the global population. These statistics indicate that if Europe and the United States were to impose sanctions on the BRICS Pay, it would effectively isolate itself with half of the world's population and resources. For the Global South, the end of dollar hegemony appears to be on the horizon. The primary concern for the Chinese public at this moment seems to be the relation between China and India, particularly regarding border tensions. However, during 2024 BRICS Summit, China and India reached an agreement on arrangement for checkpoints and patrols. India's Prime Minister Modi stated, "We welcome the agreement on the issues that had come up over the last 4 years. It should be our priority to maintain peace and tranquility on the border. Mutual trust, mutual respect, and mutual sensitivity should be the basis of our relationship." Clearly, if India can prioritize its long-term interest and work together with China for a better future for all Indian citizens, BRICS Pay will become an unstoppable force. EU Foreign Policy Chief Mr. Borrell admitted not long ago that almost everyone in the non-Western world thinks now that there are credible alternatives to the West, not only economically but also technologically, militarily, and ideologically. According to Chinese scholar Professor Zhang Weiwei, Russia was isolated by the West, but the West is isolated by the rest. With BRICS rising, a multipolar world order has become an irresistible trend in history. Next, let's take a look at another Western monopoly that has been ended, the cell phone operating system. On the 22nd of October, Huawei officially launched its Harmony OS Next, its fully self-developed terminal operating system, signaling the end of the era dominated by Android and iOS. Previously, Huawei released Harmony OS, which still shared some Android open source code and maintained compatibility with Android applications. However, this part of Android code raises concerns, particularly after the pager and cell phone attacks in Lebanon. Harmony OS Next featured code that is entirely developed by Chinese engineers, ensuring it has no ties to Android whatsoever. According to Guangming Daily, as of 20th of October, China has over 1 billion devices powered by Harmony OS, all of which can be upgraded to the more secure Harmony OS Next system. Additionally, Huawei's engineers have successfully redeveloped and ported more than 15,000 applications based on Harmony OS Next, including popular platforms like WeChat, Alipay, and Douyin. Soon after, widely used apps such as Telegram and TikTok will also be available in its app market. The level of wealth in the Chinese community is also on the rise. On the 21st of October, during the latest World Economic Outlook presentation by the International Monetary Fund, Liu Ming, China's Vice Minister of Finance, expressed confidence that China would achieve its economic growth target of around 5% for 2025. This figure is significant for the global economy as it indicates that China's target will nearly double the Americas. According to the Business Insider, the IMF predicts US GDP growth will slow to 2.2% in 2025 as government spending decreases and the labor market cools, leading to reduced consumption. However, for the global growth, IMF predicted to be 3.2% in 2025. This means that the United States is holding the world back. According to Reuters, the IMF also projected that Germany would see zero growth this year, a downgrade of 0.2 percentage point due to ongoing struggles in its manufacturing sector. Meanwhile, Japan's growth forecast has been lowered by 0.4 percentage point to 0.3%, reflecting the lingering effect of supply disruptions. It looks like the G7 can no longer power global growth in 2025. But the good news is that there are other BRICS countries that are driving growth along with China. The IMF has upgraded Brazil's growth forecast by 0.9%, citing stronger consumption and investments, while India's projected growth rate has also been revised upward by 0.5% compared to 2024. And that is all for today. Thank you for watching this episode of China Currents. If you have any thoughts or comments about our show, please reach us at the email address below. We look forward to hearing from you and see you next time.